Is it? It's really expensive then for triathletes. I mean, you wouldn't think so. All you're doing is swim, bike, and running.
It's expensive. In this case, the entry fee was fairly expensive. It was about $850 just for the entry fee.
$850. Wow.
And then you talk about your travel to and from Hawaii. For instance, just to take my bike over there and back was approximately $300. And then you're spending anywhere from 8 to 10 days over there for lodging and food. And of course, since it is a area that is very small, the accommodation prices go up. So.
Oh, they jack the rates?
They jack the rates. But the sport's grown. I did my first triathlon in 1984.
In 84.
So it's grown substantially. This is the second time I participated in Hawaii. The first time was in 1992. I was a little bit younger. My hair was still black.
So 23 years in between. So really, you can write a book on doing a 180 at 50.
Yes. Yes.
We're going to talk more about that. But I also have another guest here, and my second guest is Josh Smart, and you are?
I'm the manager at New York Fitness, one of the local gyms in the county.
New York Fitness is very dear to my heart because that's where I started, really. If I, who was really overweight and out of shape 4 years ago, came and saw you right now, what would you tell me? Besides, go see a psychiatrist. I mean, if I wanted to do a triathlon, what would you tell me?
To try to do one.
And
to encourage you to do it, to just start trying. You can't do a triathlon if you aren't going to try to do a triathlon. So you have to make a choice in your life I'm going to practice swimming these days, I'm going to practice running these days, biking these days, weightlifting these days. And once you start really putting your effort into that, you should do it.
So, I mean, because this is the world we live in, you probably should have a doctor's clearance and a physical and all that stuff before you do it. That
would be advisable. And if you don't know how to bike or swim or something, to get a trainer or instructor to help teach you how to do the things you don't know how to do. But
so if here I am out of shape coming. We don't really worry about biking and swimming and running at first. Really, we worry about just generally getting in shape. Isn't that correct?
Correct.
And so what do? You just start a treadmill, or what do you do? What would you honestly push someone to do?
I would encourage them to do what they knew how to do already. So for me, I know how to swim well. So I would start training my strongest suit, and then okay, I'm ready to add in the next part, then the next part as they come along. Yeah.
So, Judge, what did you do to start?
In 1984, most recently.
No, this recently, because you started about, how long before the event did you start?
I started training in earnest the end of March.
End of March.
And it was October 10th. I had a pretty solid base. I had raced bikes for, approximately 19 years. I still rode 8 to 10 hours a week.
Before I
got accepted. So I had a fairly strong cardiovascular base and cycling base. I hadn't swam in 23 years. That was difficult to pick up. And I hadn't ran in about that same amount of time. So I did mainly what Josh said. You start in small increments and focus on the thing you need to learn to do, and set yourself some goals, and you become very structured.
Structured.
Very structured.
Word I've heard many, many times.
Yes.
Structured. Josh, now I know this is not a big promo here because it's tomorrow, I believe. What's going on tomorrow at New York Fitness?
Tomorrow we're hosting the indoor triathlon at New York Fitness, which uses a different structure than most triathlons. Instead of a distance-based try, it's a time-based try. So we're doing a 10-minute swim, a 30-minute bike, and a 20-minute run, and then you go as far as you can in that allotted time. So it's a great way to start seeing what you're capable of. We're using that to help do swim scholarships for the graduating local swimmers in the county.
I see. That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Now, just so you guys know this, That's how I go way back in triathlon when I grew up, and the story's in the book, and it essentially goes like this. I grew up on a golf course, and really it was owned by the city, except the water running through it technically was free water. At least when you were a kid, that's how it was. And they used to send this park cop out to chase us kids out, and when we would see him coming, we would swim to shore, run across the golf course, get on our bicycles, and ride like you know what to get away, because my dad told me when they catch me, they were going to throw me right into jail, and that was it for me. I'm gone forever. You know how dads are. At New York Fitness, 4 years ago, they held what was called a mini tri. And the mini tri was kind of the forerunner of this one that you're doing, but it wasn't that way. It was, if I can remember correctly, we were on the bicycles, the exercise bicycles first, and it was 10 or 12 miles or something, I think, that we rode. And then we ran around the parking lot, and we ran around it, I think, 12 times, and it equaled about 3 miles, the whole thing. And then we got in the water. When I was training, I'd been in bicycle shape, I'd been running, I was in pretty good shape. About a month before the triathlon, I decided maybe I should start swimming again, because I was on a swim team growing up and I thought I was a pretty good swimmer. Well, the thing is, I really hadn't swam anything in like 30 or 40 years. When I first got back in the water, I couldn't believe how difficult it was. Was it that way for you in Hawaii?
Yes, it was a little more difficult to swim again. Cardiovascularly, I was okay, but to get used to staying horizontal and propelling yourself for an hour and a half to 2 hours is a long time.
Hour and a half to 2 hours. Not 10 minutes like Josh.
No.
What happened to me after I did that mini tri is, honest to God, I was hit like over the head and fell in love. It was so hard. It was looks like it was so easy, but it was so hard that when it got into my blood, it was like I was like committed and overcommitted and amped, and I just needed to do more of this triathlon stuff because probably it was so hard. Do you find other people saying the same thing that I do?
A lot of people, once they kind of get the triathlon bug, they want to keep doing it. There's local athletes that have tried out our Acra's Triamador, and then they're like, I want to do more of that, and they keep training, and it's just contagious.
Did you do anything smaller before the Ironman?
This year?
Well, ever?
I've done approximately somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 to 200 triathlons.
150 to 200.
Yeah, most of those were between 1984 and 1993.
And those were all distances, I take
All
it.
distances. My first was a sprint, which is a 3.1 mile run, a 150-yard swim, and about a 10-mile bike. And then I would graduate up to Olympic distance, which is the smaller one, a 1.5K or 1 kilometer swim, and a 40-kilometer bike, and 10-kilometer run. And then I did half Ironman distances, and then the full Ironman.
Wow. Now, I know for a fact that in our county, Olympic distance triathlon for the world is kind of called a 5150. And it's measured on meters or kilometers, I guess. And you add it up, 40K bike, a 10K run, and a swim. It comes up to 5150. In our county, 5150 kind of means what, Judge?
It means a mental health hold.
That's right. You're crazy. Yes. No, you can't say it. I'll say it. You're crazy. No, I don't know anyone in this sport that's crazy. In fact, most of the people that are involved in triathlon are really kind of successful, down-to-earth, very, very, what's the term I want to use? They're committed type people. They are people who just go for it in life, and they try to succeed in everything they do. We're going to be back in just a minute, and when we come back, we're going to break down triathlon into swimming, biking, and running, and swimming will be our first topic. Thank you.